Welcome to Lyric Lab Poetry. My name's Martin Jago, and this is part 2 of why poets should write reviews and how to do it well. If you haven't seen part 1, please by all means check that out. It was released on the same day and at the same time as this video you're watching, or you could just hang here with the cool kids. Part 2 only exists because I forgot to include the information in part 1. And the thing I wanted to show you, if I just grab my laptop here and with a click of a button, is what a review looks like before you send it, and then we'll also take a look at it on the website. So in terms of layout and format, this might be proved particularly helpful. So here we go. Let me just click the button, and now you can see what I'm looking at here on the page. You can see that in the top left in the header, I've included my name, and on the right, I've included an email address, and then the title of the article is single-spaced and centered. And then I also include now, as a matter of course, on all my reviews that I submit, this blurby information here. It's not standard practice, although I include this because it was a requirement from one magazine. I think it's really handy. It means the reader can see immediately the title, the author, the publisher, and the ISBN number. I would usually also include a dollar price here, but this book is available. It's available in the States, of course, at the click of a button, but it's a UK publisher, and so the retail price was in pounds. I didn't want to put that sterling symbol in there and then throw off the person reading it thinking maybe, oh, it's not right for our American literary magazine when this book is available in England. Well, as I said, it's very easy to buy a copy here in the States by simply visiting the publisher's website. So I didn't include that. I thought it could possibly, throw them off, really giving this a serious consideration. And it's such a wonderful collection that I really wanted to give it the best chance that I could. So I've got the layout, and then you can see it looks on the page like an essay, although as I mentioned in part 1, it's definitely not that. It's an article that is trying to be as active as it can be from the outset. It's not using dry and stuffy academic language, and it's not trying to put the reader to sleep, and it's certainly not using the passive voice. And you can see here just in the first few sentences that I really talk about what I think the collection is really all about, and then I jump straight into the first poem, and I include a quote here. Now, the layout pretty much conforms to the Chicago Manual of Style. If you don't know what a style manual is, please do go and check that out, because if you imagine a newspaper with maybe 20 or 30 different journalists working for them, all with their own, and we all have these things, all with our own personal grammar idiosyncrasies. What a style manual does is just to clarify for the journalist or for the writer of a review, in the case of this particular website and this article, clarify exactly the house style. So, for example, if you refer to the title of a play, you should italicize that. But if you refer to the name of a character within that play, you should just, it should be capitalized as all names are, and that should be sufficient. I'm thinking specifically of Hamlet, for example. If you reference the play, then you will italicize it, and if you're referring to Hamlet the character, you wouldn't italicize it. Simple things like that help to create a continuity over the course of a newspaper, or in this case a magazine. And most literary magazines will use Chicago Manual of Style unless otherwise specified. So here you can also see that I've included quotes from the collection. It is very important to proof your finished article. It is even more important to proof the quotes that you use within that article. You do not want to get them wrong. You want to do the very best you can to represent that poet's voice. So you can see here that the quote, the first quote here, is indented and single-spaced, and that sets it apart from the rest of the article, and it shows the reader very clearly that actually now I'm referring to the poetry specifically as it appears on the page. Now, sometimes you might want to include in-text quotations. You can see here just a couple of lines down from that, I've got a couple of single words here. I've put in single quotation marks, and then on the line below that, I've included, and often if you've got one line of text that you want to quote, then that's really too short to set alone within the article. Then you can include it in the text. But I've done something very important with this, because the line actually is 2 lines of poetry, and you can see here the line "Bladderwrack itching with sandflies, memento mori of cuttlefish," and I've inserted the / there, which denotes a line ending. So the word bone, it's showing the reader essentially that the word bone would be on the next line. But because it's an in-text quotation, I haven't done that, but I've indicated it. And so at every stage, again, we want to support the writer and their work as best we can, so make sure that you are adhering to simple rules like that one there. And then the article goes on. This is quite a short article, about 1,000 words. You can see as I scroll down here, quite a lot of indented, direct quotations from the poetry collection. And there must be about 10, I think, here. This is an article double-spaced over 5 pages, about 1,000 words, and that includes all the quotes. So I hope that's helpful to see and give you an idea of how and what the finished article looks like on the page. But if we now go over to the website, and this was an article published by Tupelo Quarterly, and here you can see the same article on the page, and it doesn't really look much different, but they've used their own in-house font style and layout, and they use these kind of blue lines here to indicate where there is an instance of direct quotation from the collection. So thanks very much for watching. It really is helpful to see the finished review on the page, both on the website and also in a document, in a software document, before you actually send it. Remember, the key here is to try to engage the reader in active prose from the outset. Make sure you quote accurately from the source text, and your summary should neatly bring the article to a close. Here's another good technique I'll just leave you with. One really good way of starting to think about how you might write the review is just to give the collection a full read through, one sitting, and to annotate, circle all of the bits of poetry and all of the poems that you absolutely love, and then go back to those quotes. You might have more than 10, but if you can get those quotes down somewhere between 6 and 10, and then you can build your article, you can build your review around those kind of star quotes. Thanks very much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please, of course, click the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps to grow the channel, and of course, I will be back soon with more poetry content.